Welcome to another edition of Suits Talk, Season 4, Episode 6 edition. I'm your host, Aaron, and as always, I'm joined by the number one swoopy-haired dude. It's Nick. What is up, buddy?
We need to get another nickname for me other than Swoopy Hair, because one day it'll be gone and you'll have nothing to call me. So,
well, I'll just call you Flat-haired or whatever.
Flat Hair or Buzzhead.
Whatever. You're gonna buzz it?
I'm never gonna buzz it. Are you crazy?
Well, I'm thinking about waxing mine to nothing.
Bald.
Yeah, like bald.
The full Monty.
Yeah, like completely gone. Okay, anyways, we have a lot to talk about. This was an awesome episode. I'm just mind blown because the last 3 episodes have just been phenomenal. So, let's start off like we always do. What did you think of the episode?
I retract on what I said last week. I think this is the best episode of the season so far. And it's funny because before we started the episode, we were talking about how our last 2 podcasts have kind of ran a little bit too long. And we were expecting this week's episode to be a really short one, but it was just a great episode. I would say it's an 8 or 9 out of 10.
Okay, kid, you can't be general like that.
9 out of 10. I'm bold. 9 out of 10.
What did you give last week? Do you remember?
An 8 out of 10, because you gave it an 8.7.
8.7.
A 9 out of 10. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I thought it was an excellent episode. I think it tied everything up. It felt like a mid-season ender. That's what it felt like to me, because it closed with him and the investment banking. I thought it felt like a season-ending episode.
Yeah.
It's weird to think next week that we're going to start right back up.
I know.
So.
I can see what you're saying. Maybe at least like a mid-season finale, or like,
exactly,
or like at least the finale before like a 3-week break or something.
Yeah. Which I don't think there is a break or anything. They didn't say that.
No, it said next Wednesday on the preview.
They're killing it with these
crazy
episodes.
3 awesome episodes in a row.
Yeah, definitely, man. It was really good. But what did you think of the episode? 8.7? 9.7?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm thinking I'm going to give it a 7.2. Okay. I promise that's the last time I'm going to use that joke. You just
effectively became that guy.
I'm not going to use that joke in every podcast, I promise. Eventually, there'll be one where I don't.
A 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10?
I'm giving it a 9.1.
Why can't you just put 9 and be even with me? You got to have that 0.1 in there?
Yeah, because I don't know. I would hate if I was reading a column about this and there was 2 writers and they both had the same score.
Okay.
That would
fair enough.
You know what I'm saying? That would
fair
take
enough.
Me off. So.
Okay, so I told you what warrants my 9.10. What about your 9.10? What to you makes this a 9.1 out of 10?
Well, kind of like what you said, how it tied everything up. It was really good. There was a little bit of everything that we love. I mean, there was some romantic tension. There was some Lewis x Harvey tension, which is some really good stuff. And then there was some good Mike and Harvey tension. And I mean, really,
Rachel and Logan.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about that. And then,
well, I think that was a big twist early on with them kissing.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird how. Okay, we'll get into. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I think the main thing that kind of like made this episode like so good for me was the Lewis thing with Harvey. Like it was so like perfectly played out, just the way that Lewis did everything, like how he had that argument with Harvey and he know how bad he screwed up, and then he just went back and like saved the day, but then we find out at the end that he really did screw up, so we're kind of just like, oh God, what's going to happen? But we got to see Harvey say lit up, which is not something I ever expected, and it looks to me like we could maybe see that I was wrong and you're right, and we could see some.
I love hearing that. It never
gets
sold to me.
Partner Litt in the future, maybe. Anyways, there was a lot of hints there, but we'll talk about the hints later.
I think 4 words can describe this episode, and it's back to its roots. I think it feels like one of the original episodes. It has that same vibe to it. It's not so moody like the other ones were.
Okay, I'm gonna say the opposite of that, because it doesn't feel like a season 1 or 2 episode, because those were a lot less like story driven. You know, it was more like cases, and this episode was completely 100% story driven, which is what season 3 and season 4 have been. This was just a perfect execution of that. So I wouldn't say back to its roots. I'd say more like awesomely awesome. There's my 4 words.
All right, so what do you want to talk about first? We got a multitude of things to discuss.
I guess we should start with the first thing that we kind of see in the episode, which is going to be Logan and Rachel. Which it's weird, like how the first half of the episode had a lot, maybe not even the first half, maybe the first like 15 or 20 minutes had a lot about them, and then they're just like completely cut for most of the rest of the episode. You don't even see Rachel really until the end, and then it kind of comes back to the forefront.
I am glad, this is going to sound really weird, but maybe you'll understand when I'm done. I'm really glad that they finally kissed, because that tension was building up since like episode 1, and I'm just glad that they got it over with and it's done, you know. And I think they tied it up pretty nicely, you know, because we saw the promos, which we'll discuss at the end of the episode, and I think they tied it up really well by doing that. I'm glad they saved that tension for the end of their quote-unquote relationship, even though there was none. I think it was really interesting to see.
So you think this is the end of their relationship?
Of Rachel and Logan's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, based on the promos we saw, and I mean,
I
it almost seemed like a one-sided relationship in this half the season, because she didn't really feel anything towards him.
Well,
and
she kissed him back.
Yeah, but that's because he kind of pressured her. This is going to sound really weird, and I don't know if we should even include this, but I got kind of a rapey vibe when he was trying to kiss her. It's not that he was being, you know, that way, but he was just being really sexually aggressive, and it kind of made me uncomfortable, and maybe that's just me being a pansy, but it kind of made me uncomfortable to see him make those like advances on her.
I feel like he might have just been like that because that's how their original relationship was, you know. I feel like it was very sexual.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, something that maybe kind of at the beginning, how I felt about the way they were acting, I thought that we were kind of looking at like a mirror effect. Like their original relationship was Rachel trying to seduce him, and he's married but in a relationship. And this time it's the other way around.
Which explains the flashbacks. It's meant to show
the
it.
flashback kind of amplified that, and you can see. But this time it's a little bit different because obviously Rachel is resisting a lot more than Logan did back in the day. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, just based on the promo for next week, which the promo is like almost exclusively the fact this deal. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, it was exclusively.
It was just Mike, Rachel, and Logan. So, well, at the beginning, of the promo, I see Mike walking in a room, and I was like, man, I wonder if that's Logan's apartment. It kind of looked like it was, and I was about to say something, and then 10 seconds later, we see him like throwing him into a table or something.
He's like, stay away from Rachel.
Stay away from Rachel.
Which is weird because then we see him tell her like it's done. So it's kind of weird. I'm sure they happen in the reverse order.
Different order.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like Logan's character to start with, and I'll tell you why. It's because they've presented him really negatively since he's been on. And for me, personally, when they were kissing in his condo, it made me really uncomfortable, like I just said, and it just made me hate him more because he's just kind of a slime ball, you know? Like, all he wants her for is to bang her, pretty much. Which...
I don't know. What I don't understand about the whole situation is why Rachel is resisting. I mean, dude, he's a billionaire. I mean, seriously. I just don't have...
It's because she's been there, done that, and it hasn't worked out.
But I don't have the... Yeah, but that's because he was married.
Listen, I want to give you some advice. Even though I'm not a woman, they think a cheater will always be a cheater. And that is true 90% of the time, but it doesn't always mean it's true.
If you married a billionaire cougar, you would care if she cheated or not? Because I would not. You're living the billion... Like, these... I like myself, and I like to, like... advance my future and stuff, but I would so much rather just marry a billionaire and never have to work again than like, oh yeah, I'm so determined to be a lawyer that I'm gonna just work for the rest of my life instead of marrying a billionaire. She wants to
be an independent woman. It's part of the feminist movement.
I don't understand it, because if I was Rachel, I'd be like, see you, Mike, I'm gonna go marry this billionaire who loves me and thinks I'm super hot.
Well, you know, props to her for having more morals than we do, because I would do that in a heartbeat if I was a girl. But I was really impressed with her when she resisted it, because they started to give in, and I was like, maybe she's going to go for it. And then they started to take off her jacket. I was like, this is really happening, and then she stops it. So props to her for at least stopping it. Yeah. I don't think that'll make a difference to Mike, but it makes a difference to me. So
well, she just kind of screwed herself from the beginning, because like she did that, and then she she let Donna get to her. Donna Donna'd her. And Donna found out, and then Donna made her feel bad, and then she went off and screwed up the whole deal. And it's all turned into... And now Mike's fired pretty much because of Rachel, so it's a bit of a messy situation. It's all Rachel's fault. I love her, though.
First scene, next episode, her getting fired from Pearson Spector.
No.
See the
That's never going to happen.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, dude. One of the weirder things about the whole thing, I don't remember exactly where it was in the episode. It was kind of like in the middle towards the end after Harvey like cornered Rachel in the filing room and talked out of her that Logan was in trouble with the board. Logan like starts talking to Rachel, and he's like mad at her, and he basically like tells her that he feels betrayed or whatever, and he's mad at her 1 second, and then the next he's just like, well, I don't even care. I just want you. Screw Mike. Like, just be with me. That's pretty much what he said. And I was just like, this is legit. So I disagree with you, and I think that we are in for the long haul.
Do you think she'll actually go with Logan?
No, but I think he'll be around for at least 2 or 3 more episodes.
When we watched the episode, you should remember me going, and then saying, well, I'm a genius.
Yeah, that was at the end when Donna was in Rachel's office.
Well, it was a little before. I think I did it twice. One might have been a little quieter. But what I was thinking about is, it's when she said, Logan, yeah, sorry. That's what you're talking about, is when she said, I just got a text saying that he's fired. And I thought, well, okay, we think he's going to come back to Pearson Spector.
I don't think that.
Well, I mean, we think eventually he's going to come back to Pearson Spector.
Okay, yeah, probably.
In this season, Logan might be around then. So imagine if they're all in the same building, but they're on like the same team. Imagine how much division that would cause. So I thought about, the tagline being a firm divided, and I wonder if we haven't even begun to see the dividing yet, because they're all going to be on the same side, just clashing against each other. Because think you got so much Lewis Harvey, Lewis Jeff, Jeff Harvey, Jeff Jessica, blah, 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 going on and on and on. Rachel Donna, Rachel, it goes on. So it just clicked with me. Like I wonder if it hasn't even started yet. And it'd be really cool if Aaron Korsh, if you're listening and still writing the show, if you tease this thing as the big conflict and you take us back in and we think we're safe and you flip it back over on its side. Dude, that would be
okay. That's pretty good.
That would be cool.
That's pretty good. I could see that being an awesome like plot if Mike, like next episode of the episode after that, somehow gets his job back at Pearson Spector, and then Logan is still working there, or using them as his client while he's working there. I think that would be awesome.
It would be awesome if it was executed right, but I think they could do it.
Of course they can do it.
This is really weird, but I would hate to be the Lewis Litt of my job. I would hate to be good at what I do, but be hated by all of my peers because I'm just...
Yeah, that's how it is for me at my job because I'm so awesome that everyone's
jealous.
Like,
Aaron's just so good. We hate him.
Yeah, it's the same way in the podcast world. Those other podcasts about suits that we won't name, they hate us because we're so much better than them.
That's very true. No, but, I thought for a long time, would Lewis do something just to get the approval of not just Harvey, but the firm in general, because he wants to achieve a lot, and I thought this back even when he was a junior associate or a junior partner. Would he do something bad to become a senior partner? Like, 'cause that's what they do. So if he wanted to compete with them, would he have to do something like they do? Like, oh, well, I was supposed to do this, but I don't want to deal with Harvey being mad at me because it'll upset me too bad, so I just won't do it, So I wonder if we'll see Lewis start to turn, not like Harvey, that's really extreme, but just kind of do more shady things like that.
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I do think that this decision that he made that we found out about at the end of the episode, I think it will probably in some way, shape, or form come back to bite him, and he'll be back on bad terms with Harvey.
Everything in Suits has repercussions.
Yeah.
Everything.
Like, this coffee's too creamery. Yeah, you get the point. I don't know where I was going with that.
But I started to wonder that whenever he was feeling really happy whenever Harvey told him he was doing good. And then Harvey, like you said, it was one of the shining parts for me is when he told him, hey, he just got lit the hell up.
Yeah.
And it was weird to see him actually say that to Lewis. So, I don't know.
What I really want to know about Lewis, when he meets with Forsman, and he goes in there and he's got his Harvey hate diary, which I'm not surprised that he had that. He's got that. And again, with the stupid commercial cliffhangers, he says, or Forsman, after this whole conversation says, well, why do you want to do this to Harvey Specter? What did he do to you? And Lewis says, read May 9th, 2012, then you'll know. Commercial, and we never find out. It's like the stupid can opener thing. Why? They're never going to tell. They don't even know themselves what it is. They probably didn't decide for this either. They just have it there, and they want it to be in our minds like the stupid polar bear in Lost. It's just there, and we're never going to know what it is until we don't even care. Like, the show will be in season 27, and Harvey and Mike's kids will be dueling freaking, I don't even know what they'll be. They'll be dueling dragons in the law firm, and they're going to be like, oh, yeah, do you remember May 9th, 2012 in Lewis's diary? Ha ha ha. Harvey gave Lewis a wedgie, and that's going to be what it was, Something stupid like that. I want to know. If you're listening to this, Aaron Korsh, I want to know what happened on May 9th, 2012, and I don't want you to tease me anymore. I want it right now.
I think the can opener thing was just more or less, I don't think you were supposed to know. It was kind of their pre-trial ritual, but they don't ever need it because they don't go to trial. So it's not important what it is because they don't go to trial.
Yeah, but they did it like 4 times to us.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's one of those things that they had and they scrapped last minute. They're like, no, we're fine. We don't want to talk about that. But it bugs a lot of people.
It bugs me.
If you go on any forums, message boards, they're all like, what's with the can opener? Like, they're still asking to this day.
Yeah, I want to know what it is.
I'm sure we'll see him at trial at some point. I'm sure we'll bring out a can opener.
Yeah, in season 37.
I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe not. Aaron Korsh, if you're listening, help Aaron not kill himself when he doesn't find out what it is.
It deeply angers me. I hate when they do that to us. I mean, I love it, but I hate it.
Well, could you imagine Lost? Like, I can imagine when they're like, in season 3, and they're like, hey, that polar bear, wasn't that from like the first episode of season 1? They're like, oh, I forgot about that. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen with a can opener.
Okay, so I want to get kind of into the meat of the primary storyline, which is Mike and Harvey and Logan.
But mainly Mike, right?
But mainly Mike, because there's one thing I can tell you about Mike this episode. He dominated. Well, until the end. He dominated for the first 50 minutes.
Because he got fired. He made a mockery of everybody he encountered. Like, everyone he encountered, he was like, you suck. You suck. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best.
Yeah.
Just torching everybody in law. And then he gets fired at the end because he's too godly.
They can't just go a whole episode since this conflict began. They can't just go a whole episode where Mike wins the whole episode or Harvey wins the whole episode. It's always like one of them does really well and then gets pooped on.
Well, he really did get pooped on at the end. Yeah. No, but it's funny when I saw that guy,
Forsman.
Yes, I believe that's his name. When I saw him hand him that job offer, I knew Mike would get fired this episode or next episode because I knew what would happen is that he should have taken that job opportunity.
Would you have?
Honestly, I don't trust the guy enough. But
yeah, that's I think even though it was probably hella money, that dude is definitely sketchy. I would not have taken it.
But they kind of alluded to it in a conversation because what they said is pretty much, well, this deal's going south. The only way you can save yourself is if you come work for me. And Mike, being on top of the world, was like, go to hell. Then he comes back and gets fired. And he's like, wow, he was right.
Well, what did he expect?
I think he expected anything.
He knew he was going to get fired regardless.
I think he knew, but I don't think he think Sidwell would actually do it, I
don't know. I think he should have known.
Well, we can talk about the firing last because I think that's, to me, the most interesting part of the whole episode.
Yeah. What's interesting to me, or what made me realize that I knew Mike wasn't going to take that job from Forsman, is that Harvey and Forsman have no relationship at all. So if Mike took that job, he wouldn't have anything to do with Pearson Spector. So there just would have been no show. So I feel like that never could have come into fruition unless there was some sort of lawsuit or something going on between the two companies. So
yeah, or unless Harvey picked up him as a client, which I don't know why he would do that in a million years.
yeah, and they made that guy seem like such an evil scammer. I just don't think they would want to go in that direction.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what are some things you want to talk about, Mike? Where do you have his firing, which we're going to discuss last? What about some of the other stuff that happened to him during the episode?
Okay, so I really want to talk about since we're talking about Mike dominating, I want to talk about the little meeting that they finally convince Mike and Logan to have, with Harvey there at the Pearson Spectre office. First of all, Mike's late, which is weird. I felt like they were going to have a reason for that, but they didn't, which is weird. But anyways, he was late. He gets there. They sit down. It seems like it's going good. And then Mike throws the curveball.
It's a bold curveball, too.
A bold curveball, yeah. And we pretty much see Mike makes Harvey choose between him and Logan. And Harvey thinks about it for about
2 seconds.
2 seconds and then picks Mike. So that's good because that is more steps on the road to them patching it up and Mike coming back to the firm.
Those 2 seconds were intense, though.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there like, is he going to pick Mike? And he did. I was like, okay, well, by that time I knew Mike was coming back to Pearson Spectre or is on the road to it very soon.
Yeah.
Because I think that was kind of the seal on that.
I agree. So then that happens, and then basically, they fight for a minute. Logan basically says, I'm not taking the offer. Screw that. And Mike just gets up and walks out. So screw you. Harvey, follows him, and Mike basically just says, screw you. And then he stands in the elevator, and the door closes. And I'm just like, Harvey has done that to people so many times in this episode. And he just got Harvey'd by Mike. I'm just like, dude, I'm bowing down. You champion. I love you. That was awesome.
Seems like Harvey's the kind of guy that wouldn't like a taste of his own medicine.
Nope.
It's like, sorry, man, but I win. Door closes. Dink. He's like, wait, what?
You got to think for Harvey, it's probably just Mike is pretty much like my protege. So if he can beat me, I got him there. So
yeah.
So yeah, that was awesome, and I love that. And I guess really the only other relevant thing for Mike, we already talked about his job offer.
The job offer. The firing. Let's just get to the firing.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best scene of the episode, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was filmed perfectly.
You thought it was filmed perfectly?
Yeah, I thought it was filmed really great. Just
okay.
Just how, well, not so much him getting fired, but him kind of leaving.
Okay.
Like him packing up his tie, him walking out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, are you talking about him packing up his tie being the good scene, or him getting fired being the good scene?
Just from when he gets fired to when the elevator door closes. I think the music.
Well, it gets split in half by.
Right, I'm saying if you just combine them, I think those two scenes combined
so you're
are
saying
the best.
You're talking about the cinematography there. So basically, we're talking about Nick's cinematography crap, correct?
Yep, I guess we are. They trying to avoid that segment. I slipped it in. No, but that scene of him packing the tie, I think we can both agree was really powerful.
Oh yeah, I felt like
it sucked you into it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the right word. Basically, it for me it represented here we go. Mike is pretty much essentially back where he was in episode 1 because he's not a lawyer, he's not an investment banker. He's not wearing a suit anymore. Mm-hmm. And we saw in the preview, what was Mike wearing?
Like a sweater vest thing?
Not a sweater vest. It was just like a t-shirt with jeans and a sweater.
A sweater.
Like a jacket. Yeah. Basically. And that's it. He's not wearing a suit. And to me, that's just whoa. And the music and Amy.
And just the way it closes, the same way he closed with Harvey, it just shows him standing there, slowly closing the door, and it's done. And to me, it was... cinematography was perfect because it just closed that chapter over the Sidwell investment banking chapter of that story really well. It was like, okay, we have this and he's fired and then whoosh, it's done. It's just done. And I think that's all we'll see of Sidwell banking.
Oh, and he put the thing on the table.
The plaque for him getting Walter Gillis.
That was good.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll see. Maybe we'll see Amy. Yeah, I think he'll have some contact with her.
I was going to save that for a little while later.
Oh, okay. But ooh, is that a hashtag bold prediction?
No, it's not a hashtag. I was saving it for another segment.
Okay. All right. Well,
Which brings us to our next segment.
the best segment.
The best segment.
Well, second to Nick's cinematography grab.
No, it's the best segment. And you know why? Because it's Aaron's Lightning Round.
Okay.
The emphasis on Aaron's.
So if it was Nick's lightning round, it'd be worse.
Yes.
Anyways, what are your questions?
Okay. You ready? Okay. Just for anyone who is not familiar with Aaron's Lightning Round, basically what we do is I throw out some phrases or sentences just about the episode, and Nick replies about them in relation to this episode. So if I say Harvey's hair, he'll say, well, I noticed in this episode that Harvey's hair, blah, blah, blah. And so he instantly answers, no time to think. Just tell me the first thing that pops into your head. So let's start. Lewis's mugs.
I'm glad we saw him with, I don't know if we saw the mugs earlier. I think we did see one of the mugs.
Yeah, I think we've seen at least one before.
But I really like that it started the episode with him passing them out, and he gave one to Donna with a necklace in it, which we talked last episode about that extensively, and it just amounted to nothing.
Oh, yeah.
It was just done like that.
I forgot to talk about that earlier. I wrote on my notes, Litt necklace for Donna, BS just as expected. Because I did say something about that. I said, I bet it's probably just some thing where the preview makes it look like it's, oh my gosh,
Lewis
got a necklace for Donna. And it's like, oh, it's the replica of the play necklace. Like, oh my God, Lewis, you're such a dork.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was funny.
All right. Next up, Rachel being seductive in the flashback.
Well, it's weird because I pictured, because he's cheating, that he was always the one that came on to her. That's just what I picture when a man cheats on his wife. But to see her kind of toy around with the idea, it wasn't something I quite expected. And then we jump right to, them at at his condo. And I'm like, is she going to come on to him? It just showed us that, but they flip it around, like you said earlier.
It shows her in a cab first. Okay, moving on.
Cinematography.
Moving on. Next I've got Pearson Spector Litt.
I love the idea, and I know you hate it, because every time I brought up Pearson Spector Litt or Spector Litt, because you think Jessica will be gone at the end of 4, you always like, no, there will be no Lewis, there will be no Lewis. And during this episode, I heard you say it might be a real possibility that Litt will be a named partner, and I think it's great. I think it's what the show needs.
I think it's possible. I feel like there's a lot of alluding, like foreshadowing kind of to it this episode, like with...
Well, not just the episode, but the season, because those business cards. I know,
but this episode especially, like, I feel like up until this point, it's kind of been like a joke. But in this episode, it was really like, because Jessica's like going in and trusting Lewis with this important stuff, and Lewis gets it done, and then Harvey approves of Lewis and says you got lit up. So I don't know, just kind of feels like it's something that we could, like, they could make it not happen, and it wouldn't be a big deal. Like, they haven't gone that far with it, but they have done enough where if it did happen, to be like, oh, that makes sense.
Honestly, I'm not into law, and obviously I'm not a lawyer, but I think he deserves the position. I think he can hang with Jessica and Harvey.
Well, you did just say like 10 minutes ago that you would never want to be the Lewis of your job, and everybody hates him. So, I agree. I hate him too. Let's move on. Will Amy be back?
I think for 2 or 3 episodes max. I don't think she'll be a recurring character. Picture like when the British firm merged. They were like, I thought they would be in here for like a season or 2, but they kind of faded out slowly. I don't think Nigel, I think it was his name, the guy that was like Lewis, I don't think they really connected as much as they thought they would. Character wise, I don't think Amy has any place now that he's gone. So I don't think she'll be in for maybe, I can see her being in for like one more episode, like after Mike just gets fired, to have a contact in Sidwell. But other than that, I don't think she'll be in here till the end of the season.
I see. Okay. So that's the end of Aaron's lightning round, but we still have Nick's lightning round. Do you have a thing for that?
Yeah, I have a soundbite for that.
For both?
Yeah, for both.
Oh, sweet. This one's not as good, but yeah, we're going Nick's lightning round. Let's go. All right.
Okay, ready? First, I'm going to throw the question you just backed right at you.
Whoa, boomerang dog. Let's go.
Plot twist. Do you think Amy will be back?
Yes, I do think Amy will be back, and I have some insider information
I shouldn't have asked.
She is the actress who plays her is actually signed on for the rest of the season.
So you knew the answer before you asked me the question.
Actually, I just made that up. I was just screwing with you. I wanted to see what you'd say. Okay, so what I really think is that...
Such a douche move. To all of our listeners, I'm sorry that
They're
happened.
probably like, yes, I love Amy. And he's like, just crushed my hopes and dreams. No, okay. Okay, really, though, I think that Mike will go back to Pearson Spector and bring Amy with him. She might not be his assistant, but she could come back. I feel like she has a place in the show now. And this is such a dumb thing to like make me think that, but really what like finalized it for me was when Donna and Rachel are talking in Rachel's office at the end of the episode, and Rachel says, Amy just texted me, Mike got fired. If Amy and Rachel have like a legit relationship, and Donna and Amy worships Donna, I don't know, I could just see it. I could just see the women being like, we need this girl, and she comes.
It would be a very interesting dynamic to have the three women there.
Maybe she could be Lewis's assistant.
But he has Katrina. Well, no, I guess Katrina's not his assistant.
He has Norma or whatever.
Yeah, Norma, which we've never seen.
We've never seen. Norma goes on.
As far as we know, she's just non-existent.
I could see like at the beginning of the 8th episode or something, like Mike walking down the hallway and seeing Donna or something, and then they see Amy walk by, and Mike's just like, Amy, is that you? And Donna's just like, yeah, Norma's in Tahiti or something now, and so Amy now works for us.
What will happen with Mike and Rachel?
Wait, hold on. You only have 2?
Yes, I do.
That's terrible. Okay, I'll answer your question.
This guy's always so condescending.
Well, never mind. I'll bring that up later. I have some good stuff. Anyways, what will happen with Mike and Rachel? Mm-hmm. This is going to be a very detailed answer.
We love detail.
It's not. Okay, well, we obviously saw in the preview for next week that Mike says to Rachel, we're done. But one thing I noticed is that Mike is, first of all, he's wearing the exact same clothes that he is when he trashes Logan's apartment and beats the crap out of him. So, but it looks like, to me, that he's in the lobby of Pearson Spector. So, I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Maybe he goes to Harvey for some reason after he beats the crap out of Logan. I don't know. But here's what I think is going to happen. They'll break up and be done. End of story.
My projected sequence of events.
Did I ask you?
It doesn't matter what you asked. I'm co-host. He comes to Pearson Spector. Okay, well, this just might be me fanboying, but I would really like if he went into Pearson Spector, and let's just say Donna keeps hounding Rachel, right? Tell Mike, and she's just fine, I told him, but she didn't. And then he goes into Pearson Spector, and then,
Donna's just like,
Donna
are you
slips
okay?
something up. Yeah, and he's like, what are you talking about? And then they tell him, and then he goes talks to Rachel. He storms downstairs. They confront each other, and he's like, we're done. And then he goes right to Logan's apartment and whoops him. And then, see the money, water.
Dude, that was an extremely good guess. I think that's probably what will happen or something close to that.
I'm a genius, so what do you expect?
That was good. So you didn't answer the question, though. Do you think they'll be...
It doesn't matter if I answer the question. That's what's going to happen.
I know, yeah, that'll happen. So what do you think will happen to them long term, though?
Long term? They'll get back together.
I don't know what I was thinking before. I tend to probably agree because they're just like the golden couple of the episode.
Yeah.
Of the show.
Yeah, it's like all couples. They break up, they get back together. But Donna made the illusion in this, Rachel made the illusion, he kept a secret from me that he was a fraud, and I can't keep this from him. And I'm like, well, these are two different things, you cheating on him is way different than him in his professional career. I could live with that. It upset me, but if my girlfriend was like, hey, I cheated on you with my ex, I'd be like, oh, no, thank you, sorry.
Yeah, we're done.
We're done. Now, if she was like, hey, I'm not really a receptionist, I'm like a car salesman, I'd be like, oh, I don't really care, it's fine with me. Big deal. But
I agree.
But yeah, I think long term they'll get back together.
So I think that's all we got. We had some good discussion there. Mine were better than yours, but other than that, good. Good discussion. Good discussion. The only thing we have left is Twitter questions. which I think we actually have one or some this week. So let me look. Hold on. Yes, we have one. Yeah, one. It's from Fufa, who is our number one fan. What do you think of the Mike/Rachel relationship? Is there any future for them? And then in parentheses, I hope not.
We apologize, Fufa. We just answered that with our lightning round.
Just talked about that before we got to this.
But hey, at least you got your answer.
Yeah, you did get your answer. Maybe... Do you think maybe in the future we should do Twitter questions first? I mean, every podcast I've ever listened to always does Twitter questions last, but they all have more fans, which we're getting there. But they all have more fans than us, so they
do them last.
They have a lot more options to choose from than we do, so they do them last. But not to say that we don't love the options that we have, but we usually cover most of everything that goes on in the episode, so it's hard. I don't know. But anyways.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you're listening and you don't have a Twitter, which a lot of our promotion is through Twitter at the moment, so if for some reason you don't have a Twitter and you're hearing our podcast, if you have a Twitter, tweet us at Suits Podcast and tell us some questions during the week, the night of the episode, or any time before 10 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll be sure to address them. We just want a lot of people to tweet in questions because it gives us a lot more to talk about.
Well, you just said if you don't have a Twitter, and then you just said if you have a Twitter, tweet us. So what do you want them to
make
do?
A Twitter, because Twitter's awesome. It's a great way to talk with other Suits fans. Or if you're
there is a awesome community of Suits fans on Twitter. We have like the fan pages and just the fans in general with just their normal Twitters. They're awesome, and there's always so much good discussion about Suits, and it's great. So you should definitely get a Twitter if you don't have one, and don't be shy. Like you don't have to even tweet us a question about Suits. I mean, we would like you to, but you can. It doesn't even have to be a question. It can just be like a discussion point or anything that you want us to talk about. If you want us to talk about Nick's hair, if you want us to talk about what phones we have, whatever you want to talk about.
I listen to a lot of podcasts that ask for donations. We don't want donations. We don't want your money. We just want your questions and your discussion
points. We want your
points.
Twitter questions.
That's
so
all
send
we
us
want.
questions right now. Yeah, I mean, we will talk about whatever you want. We just want to interact with you guys. So, thank you, Fufa, for the question. I'm sorry that we already answered it. I think that's all we've got. This episode was awesome. And
it was great. Loved it.
So good. Loved it. And I hope they continue at the same pace. And I really hope that next week Mike decks Logan in the face and breaks all of his teeth.
I think we're on the path to that. I think next week is going to be explosive. I think it's going to be the best episode of the season.
Okay. I have one more question for you before we close out that I just thought of.
Okay, let's do this.
Who wins between Mike and Logan in the fight?
Mike.
Mike?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did see Logan fall to the floor and look up like a baby, but
yeah.
Just so we're like on opposite sides, I'm gonna go with Logan.
I think Logan could dominate him physically, but in this sense, I think Mike has a lot more to fight for. Yeah, so I think he'll fight harder.
Like the rage.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Anyways, is that all we got? Any more questions?
No, we have no more questions because you guys don't love us and you don't send us questions. So that's all we've got. I'm your host, Aaron, and as always, I was joined by Swoopy, and this was Suits, episode 6 of season 4. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week for episode 7. Good night. Okay, well, I think the problem with the podcast, the reason we're not as just like billionaire followers, is because you have too much hair, and it's weighing down your brain, and you can't use all the brain power.
We need to get off this hair train. People are going to think we're really conceited. Every episode we've had has talked about our hair.
Your hair is like at least 100 pounds.